The Gauteng ANC officials have received the Integrity Commission's report on investigations into Health MEC Dr. Bandile Masuku, his wife Loyiso Masuku, and President Cyril Ramaphosa spokesperson Khusela Diko. The Provincial Executive Committee is meeting this afternoon. The Integrity Commission of the ANC in Gauteng has concluded its investigations into alleged PPE tender corruption involving Health MEC Dr. Masuku, his wife Loyiso and Khusela Diko. The findings and recommendations have already been communicated to the affected parties. The special PEC this afternoon will decide the fate of the legally and politically embattled trio. The MEC and his wife stepped aside from their government responsibilities a month ago, and Diko as the spokesperson for the president. All right, and now for analysis on this matter, we joined now via Skype by political analyst Xolani Dube. Xolani, good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for joining us here on the SABC News channel. So according to news report, the Gauteng ANC Integrity Commission's findings will be released only on Sunday. This is quite interesting. Why the delay until Sunday?
Surely we have to ask ourselves, why, when it comes to the issues that are so important to us as the people who place these guys in the positions of power, and when they go rogue, and when we want to know the truth, and then there's always this dilly-dallying. And I think the reality here is about the fate of David Makura more than the fate of Bandile Masuku. Because you have to understand that this issue of Bandile Masuku, it also talks about the power struggle within the ANC in Gauteng. And so if Bandile Masuku, at the end of the day, is removed from the PEC as well as from the authority or from the position of being the MEC, that will make David Makura to be a zombie premier and a zombie chairperson of Gauteng. And so it's more about the powers of David Makura than the fate of Bandile Masuku.
But what do you think will happen going forward? Do you think the ANC will sort of now use this opportunity to send a strong message to those who might be found guilty going forward?
Look, we always have hope that ANC will renew itself. I think we need not to go to that narrative anymore, because when you look at the corruption in the ANC, it is so entrenched, it's so institutionalized. And so we need not to expect anything. But the only thing that we have to understand as the South Africans is that the ANC political elite will continue to devour us. And so for them to repent, I can assure you, is just a mirage, is a wishful thinking on our side. Because if you look across the country, corruption is so entrenched. And so I don't think that already we have to expect anything. And so even the issue of Masuku, is his fate is only at the hands of those who are pushing for David Makura to remain the premier. If they are in majority, he will survive. If David Makura's faction is no longer the majority, he is not going to survive. And so the corruption in the ANC has been weaponized by faction against each other, as well as the so-called Integrity Committee. It was a clerical kind of work that they were supposed to do, because at the end of the day, there are structures, constitutional structures within the ANC. We have a disciplinary committee, there is an appeal committee, there is an NEC that can also make a decision. And if you are not happy, you can go to the NGC. If you are not happy in the NGC, you can also appeal in the, what we call it, the National Conference. And so one wonders, what powers are this, or is this Integrity Committee is having? Before it was like a clerical committee, but now we can see it becomes a factional committee, or it's become a factional structure in the ANC. I believe that the ANC must utilize its internal structures that are constitutional powered in order to find verdicts against an individual that is being suspected that he or she is rogue.
Very interesting indeed. You touched on the powers, and I know that there have been questions really as to whether these integrity commissions do have teeth to bite. We understand, of course, we're relying on reports as it is now, but we understand that the commission has made scathing findings on Masuku. So as you say, it's going to be a very difficult one to see what happens going forward.
Look, there's a very classical example here. We are having the issue of Mamukatan Mahlangu. The ANC in Gauteng protected her, but towards the election, seeing the voice of people snowballing against Qedani, the ANC decided that, we are going to sacrifice this woman. And you know very well that the court, about a year ago, find her not guilty. But the same integrity committee failed, as well as the ANC, as well as David Makura. They failed to come back to us as the public and to tell us that, look, there is a conflict here of evidence, of verdicts. The integrity committee is finding Qedani Mahlangu not guilty, but us, as ANC, we are finding her guilty. And so we as the public, we are asking ourselves, which institution really are we supposed to take as an institution that decide on the integrity of a person? Is it an integrity committee that is there in the ANC, or is the court of law? The example of Qedani Mahlangu is a classical example to say an integrity committee is not having powers, is not having institution or instruments that at the end of the day can decide on the fate of an individual. But this integrity committee, we know it very well now, that to a certain extent, they are becoming a faction instrument in the ANC. But in future, watch the space. The integrity committee is going to be one of those institutions within the ANC that no one wants, because we can see they are becoming more and more factionalism, they're becoming more and more submerged in the wars of factions in the ANC.
All right, I'm afraid time constraints, but I suppose we wait and see what comes out of that special PEC, and also wait for those recommendations that are set to be released on Sunday. Thank you so much for coming through.
Thanks a lot, as well as to the viewers.
Thank you. Xolani Dube, political analyst, helping us understand what's likely to transpire regarding the Gauteng Health MEC Bandile Masuku, his wife Loyiso, and President Cyril Ramaphosa spokesperson Khusela Diko. Moving along.